Welcome to Crystal Quest, a game born from the story of adventure, mystery, and survival in the Desert of Whispers, the haunted cave, and the mysterious island. When you open the game, the first thing that you see is the menu, which has the playing instructions as well as credits to any external resources that were used in building the game. To play the game, you use the WASD for movements and the space key to jump. Use the arrow keys to look around, changing the camera view, and you're supposed to collect all 10 crystals in each level before the time runs out for you to move to the next level. If the timer hits 0, you lose. The following are the credits for all external resources that were used in building the game. In level 1, we created a desert environment with a bright blue sky and a soft fog to give depth and atmosphere. The terrain uses procedural bumps to form natural-looking sand dunes textured with a detailed sand material for realism. We added dynamic lighting using a main sunlight source that casts shadows and an ambient light for warmth. The sun also has a glow effect to enhance the realism. The rocks and cacti are randomly placed and aligned to the terrain, acting as obstacles and interactive elements in the scene. We also added a countdown timer, a counter that keeps count of the number of crystals that you have collected, and a pause functionality that allows you to pause and resume the game.
For the cave level, we decided to use different textures to make the environment look more realistic and interesting. So right now I'm on the ground, and as you can see, the ground we have to use soil textures that repeat across the surface so that we can make it to look more natural and uneven, just like how it would actually look inside a real cave. On our walls, when we go towards our walls, we will notice that they have like a rocky texture which makes it feel rough and like a bit old. We had to for us to achieve this, we had to use normal maps so that the light bounces off the surface in a way that shows the little bumps in the rocks. So our rocks are of different sizes and shapes. We had to make them scattered around the cave to make it more natural feeling. The same kind of texture had to be applied so that it feels more connected to the scene. We had to change the shape so that it actually looks realistic, because in a real cave, you'll notice that the rocks are not of the same size and shapes. For the mud pits, it is a bit dark and it looks slippery. And as you walk across the mud, you'll notice that it is actually quite slow. This tries to give you a feel, not only a feel, but when you walk through it and the texture, it shows that it's trying to be slippery and a bit slow, like it's not as the same as the feel that you have when you're walking on the ground. So we had to use like a realistic slippery looking like texture for this one. Since our cave had to imitate a realistic looking cave, whereby in a cave it is dark, so we decided with the crystals to make sure that they are glowing and they are of a bright color, which is quite different from the rest of the scene. So this is why we decided to go with the blue glowing light, so that the player is able to identify the crystals and differentiate them from the different textures and different stuff that are within this scene.
So for the lighting, we have the ambient light, which basically provides a global illumination to the entire cave, so nothing is completely black. This is suitable because the caves are dark environments, but you want the player to be able to see basic shapes and textures. We also have directional light. This kind of simulates the sunlight or strong directional light turning from one direction. This allows us to give our shadows the depth and the realism that they need in a cave scene, and it also allows us to show the terrain height changes, the rocks and obstacles clearly. Then we have the point light, which is indicated in the headlamp and also on the torches. So this adds the dynamic flickering light for ambience. It is also suitable because it allows since the caves are naturally dark, like I said, it also allows the player to rely on the torches and headlamps for navigation. Then lastly, we have the global fuel light, which provides the warm glow to the scene. This also prevents the black shadows to be completely dark in at distant parts of the scene.
For level 3, we built a floating island that is surrounded by water and bright skies to give the player a sense of adventure. We also used a variety of textures to make the scene look more detailed and realistic. One of the interesting textures in this scene is the water texture. It uses reflections and movements to make the ocean look alive, and it also reacts to the light to create a shimmering effect when the player moves around. The scene also has realistic lighting from both directional and ambient light. The player moves across platforms, use jump pads, and avoid hazards to collect all the crystals. We used physics from the Rapier engine to make the movement and jumps more smooth and realistic. To improve the experience of the game, we also added a soft ocean sound that plays in the background of the game. This level also has the timer and the counter that keeps track of the number of crystals you've collected and the amount of time you have left in the scene or in the level. And that is it for the devlog of Crystal Quest. Thank you for watching.